What is up, guys? Matt from Duality Gaming here, giving you another video, and this one is talking about the recently released news of Nintendo and the NX. And apparently there's some form of rumor and article going around that Nintendo are going to be using the NX as a basically their format is going to be cartridge and not disc. Now I thought about this. People were saying it's fake. Obviously that can be a thing. Like, there's a few things it can be. Fake is obviously one of them. Another thing can be if it's this hybrid console that everyone has, but like the thing that's been going on quite a lot, like the rumor that's been persisting quite a lot, that would also go into it. If it's a handheld and a console, right, it's like a dual project or whatever, then that also makes sense why there would be cartridges, because the handheld obviously would take cartridges because they don't get damaged, they can knock around a lot, and they're a lot quicker and they're a lot smaller. And third thing is Nintendo are actually just trying to be different again. Now, you'd hope that Nintendo would learn not to be different anymore, with the whole N64 kind of having issues because people didn't want to develop for it, because the cartridge at the time only had 8 megabytes and the PS1 had about 80 megabytes in terms of cartridge versus CD, and then, you know, the whole mini DVD fiasco that was just pointless, and then the Wii with a whole plethora of issues, and the Wii U. Well, the Wii U is actually the only one that actually made sense in terms of disc format, because it is a Blu-ray. It's just, I think it's a Philips Blu-ray. Now, going on from that, first thing, I'm going to address these all in different ways. It can be fake. Obviously, that is a thing. There are fake articles on the internet, but that can always be a thing, and obviously time will tell. Secondly, if it's a hybrid console, which, by the way, has been going around a lot, that can be a thing, where basically you have counterparts where the main console will have a disc and the handheld would have a cartridge, and that would make sense. To, if you remember the NX video I did, where I was talking about how it had 2 GPUs, like it had an ARM and a AMD chip or whatever, then that would go into that, because the Vita and the 3DS and the DS all use, you know, cartridges. Now let's go on to the other thing. Now, this is actually also something that has been around for quite a while, and this isn't something new, where there were rumors of the NX having cartridge-based console. And I'm just going to ignore the fact if it was a hybrid console or not. Let's just ignore that for a second and go into the fact if it's a console that uses cartridges. Obviously there is I think it's more expensive to actually make them, but there is also a lot of plus sides to having cartridges. One, stuff like SD cards and everything can hold a lot more memory now than they could. I think there's like a 200 gigabyte fucking mini SD now. Like, it's crazy how well SD cards and shit like that and can store data. And going on from that, it's a lot quicker than a disc, because there's obviously no moving parts. It's all solid state. That would also be a good thing. The problem with that, I feel, if they had that, they're either going to do what they did with the Wii U and just kind of fuck off the hard drive and just stick some stupid shitty thing in there, which obviously Bethesda will not like, ever, because, you know, Bethesda like releasing broken games. Don't believe me, go look at all the Bethesda games except Wolfenstein. And going on from that, it's quicker, obviously it's slightly more expensive, but you're able to put more high-res textures and things like that into the game, and it's faster. And I don't know if it's cheaper to mass produce. I'm not that kind of person, I don't know that kind of things, but it could be interesting. And obviously the resale value stays, and there's less likely a chance that the disc is going to get the game cartridge is going to get fucked up compared to a disc. Now, if you fuck up a Blu-ray, you need to be some special kind of retard to actually do that, because there's a coating on that prevents that. But I have seen Blu-rays been scratched. You just got to use a lot of effort. And if Nintendo are the family-orientated company that they like to show themselves as, obviously a cartridge would help you, because if you have small children in the house, like, you know, that like to break things, then this is obviously a plus side for that, because that way it's less likely the disc is going to snap or something. Personally, if it's fake, it's fake. If it's real, cool. Like, obviously it could go into the hybrid thing. It could also just be a console, and it takes cartridge-based things like an SD card or whatever, like the Vita does and the 3DS does, but obviously to a bigger extent with more memory. And the plus side of that obviously being there's less moving parts in the console, so there's obviously less of a failure rate, like, you know, your hard drive just deciding to kill itself. Anyway, tell me what you think down below. It can be fake, it could be anything, we don't know yet. Obviously, it's not going to be at E3. I should really do a video on that, but I'm probably not going to. Maybe, I don't know. Go check out the channel later. It may be up. Anyway, tell me what you think down below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, subscribe to the channel. It really does help me and Doris out. Check out our Facebook and check out the Instagram for daily updates. And ultimately, guys, as I always say, have a nice day.